Welcome to Pods with Posh and Paul, a podcast designed to inspire and challenge listeners through story, experience and insight. To face adversity, learn from suffering and discover how to embrace life with a heart filled with love and gratitude. We are so thrilled to have you journey with us and can't wait to share your stories. Join Sue O'Callaghan and Joanne Webb as we disrupt the theory that everyone has perfect lives.
Welcome to TeenPODS, a podcast series designed to ignite and inspire teens and those in their 20s, addressing topical issues and impacting mental health. Today we have with us Owen Pomana. Owen has a colourful past that includes time in the sex industry, gangster life and prison. Owen had a promising life ahead of him with a good career in the Navy. It was after he had his heart broken when his best friend and girlfriend betrayed him, did his life go off the rails. Owen joins us to talk about dealing with pain and rejection, learning from the storms of life, and the benefits of finding a mentor. Owen turned his life around and today works tirelessly feeding the homeless, trying to eradicate sex trafficking and helping others. We're so pleased to welcome Owen to TeenPODS. Hi, welcome to another episode of TeenPODS, and today we have with us Owen. Hi Owen, how are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you for having me once again.
You are welcome. It's so lovely to see you. So we set up TeenPODS because there's lots of teenagers out there who don't know their identity, they don't know where they want to go, they may not have any good mentors in their life. Whatever their situation is, we all know that teenagers are going through a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress. There's a lot of stress out there in this world nowadays. You, Owen, you shine a light in the world. You help the homeless, you have passion and purpose, you help out in the sex trafficking industry. You really trying to eradicate that from not only this country but countries far and wide, and here you are doing good in the world. However, your life has not always looked like this, has it?
No, I mean, life is obviously going to have a series of challenges. It's just how you navigate through them. So I think storms and trials in life are going to be pivotal in how you do life. When you're facing trauma or mountains or storms in life, nobody really likes to be in those places. I hated being in those places, but I learned from those places too. And there's some really cool people out there. You talked about mentoring. You talked about people who can you aspire to be like, and so they could be focal points in your journey. I'd like to be like that. So there'll be things within someone's life that you'll be able to take away and say, oh yeah, that'll work for me, or try it and it doesn't work for you. So, that's the beautiful thing about being free, I guess.
You were once free, you were a normal teenager, and then you went on a journey where you joined the Navy, you fell in love with a girl, you ended up with a broken heart and things didn't turn out for you the way you wanted them to. You ended up in prison, you had a life of violence and the sex trade, and also, you carried such shame and brokenness with you. You didn't know where to put it, clearly. You turned your life around. But what is the message then to teens that are struggling, looking for something, some prop to help them through that struggle right now?
I guess if you try and find the word love, what does love mean? Do you know what I mean? And for me, I was a competitive bodybuilder at the age of 25. And when, I thought I was in love and my best friend slept with my girlfriend, I looked at the physical attributes. Oh, what's wrong with me? Man, I'm going to the gym. I look at them in shape and, what's wrong with me sort of stuff. So that was the big breaker for me. I looked at my physical attributes. Oh, what's wrong with me? And so, I didn't know how to navigate through bitterness, angriness, rejection, lots of things you could add to the list. I wasn't qualified to go through that journey of life of, how do you deal with brokenness through rejection? And so I became bitter, angry, and a lot of addictions came in to fill a void. And so when you're trapped in those things and there's no one to help you navigate out of them, you just continue to go around the mountain or go deeper and deeper and deeper into that journey of whatever it is, drunkenness, drug addiction, sex, gambling, whatever, So all addictions are something that's going to cover a void. So when you're young, I don't believe you have the capacity to be able to know exactly, what love is. Different types of love. You love the things that you're doing, or if it's in a relationship, you want to spend the rest of your life with someone. There's that type of love is something that I thought, oh, that's going to happen for me, but it didn't plan out the way I played. So as a result of that, I made a many decisions in my life which would, be a negative. And so I ended up in prison. I ended up more broken. I ended up more drug addicted. But in that brokenness, I started to, people started coming around me that taught me value systems. They showed me an identity. They showed me really good stuff, but I wrestled with their processes because, again, when you're hurt and you're broken, your defense system's up and you'll automatically go to those, like putting a mask on, or you're putting a different thing on. It's just saying that, hey, I just don't want you to look at my vulnerability and look into deeper things which I'm not prepared to share with you.
And these are all props, aren't they, to help us get through. And very naturally in life, we need help to come through the times that we struggle, the times that we find difficult, whether it's even study for academics at school, studying for exams, pressure of work that teachers put on you, broken relationships, friendships that haven't worked out. We need props to get through. In that then for teenagers is if they want to find support and find help, it is actually to be vulnerable rather than running away from that vulnerability. Be honest, be real, seek the help and support, but from somebody that you feel really safe with. Who is it you feel safe with? If it's not somebody that there are numbers online you can call. You can look at I Am Hope, where you can get free counselling support immediately with somebody. But it take the step to cross over into courage, isn't it? Where if there's not somebody there for you, do that for yourself. Step over that line, cross into courage.
A lot of young people today are, they think that they have to perform because maybe their parents have come from sporting backgrounds or they're very successful. So they think if I'm not successful in education or in sports, then I'm a disgrace from my family. And, these are signs because families want the best for their kids, obviously, mums and dads. I don't have any kids of my own, but I deal with kids that have come through youth, through juvenile. Yet again, their will to perform, and their heart is, I've got to perform so that my parents would love me or they would care for me. Or if there's competitive kids in these families, when you've got young people that are looking at, say, wanting to go into gangs these days, I mean, people, they're like bodybuilders. They ride nice Harley Davidsons. They drive nice cars. They're in shape. And so it's one of those things, heck, I'd like to be in a gang. I'd love to be in the Banditos or the Hells Angels or any one of these places because I think, it's really, really good. But it starts off going to a party, nice girls, nice bikes, nice cars, and all of a sudden there's an ecstasy pill or there's a line of coke, and all of a sudden, one day turns into 2 days, into 3 days, 3 days turns into selling turns into making $1,000, making $100,000, making $1 million, and then what comes with that is the people stealing off you, your drug addiction, overtakes the demand for making money, and then all of a sudden you're trapped, prison, on the run from bad people. All of a sudden that nice little party that you went to, all of a sudden it's a 7-day bender. Now you're facing courts, you're facing police, you're facing families that don't want to know you. We don't know you. You're not the same person that was in our family. All these things start to come in place because of the wrong choices that you made. But most of those decisions for young people have come from a place where they didn't originally start off, wanting to go that way, but it's just what happens.
No, and I think for people who don't have that sense of security, that sense of identity, though the glamorous parts of that life can easily draw you in, can't they? Because to begin with, they do the glamorous parts to entice you into that kind of life. You can't see the downsides of it to begin with until you are so embroiled in it, until you're so embedded that actually you realise there's no way out really, and I've got to do things that are not in line with my values, that they don't feel right to me, but I have to do it to be part of this community.
Yeah, peer pressure at school to do what everybody else is doing, to be the centre of attention or to be liked. People want to be liked, and so to my understanding, they didn't set out to do that, but that's what ended up eventuating for a lot of people. They just find themselves in hard places, and then again through the embarrassment. It's easy for a person to talk about their life if they don't know you. Like if your mum and dad, there's things that your kids will never tell you, their secrets. but they'll talk to a complete stranger. So, you know, if you're a parent, choose wise words, because those kids will remember those words. I remembered them. Don't say that they're ugly. Don't tell them that they're useless. Don't tell them they'll never amount to anything. So you choose to speak life over them.
And it's interesting, isn't it? Because I think people are fighting, teenagers are fighting, like all of us, for two things in life: fighting to survive and fighting for connections, two things that they need and want. And survival might look like making money because they're living in poverty or in a desperate situation, therefore turning to avenues to access money that are not healthy, and turning to relationships for connection, again, that are not healthy. But the message is that as individuals, if you lack self-esteem and are in a place of self-hatred and turning to addictive natures to support a habit, that actually the message is you are loved and you have the authority and power to speak that love over yourself where you're not receiving it from other people. We value you and we love you. We've not met you, but we really care. That's why we're doing this series of podcasts, and that you have a purpose and you have a plan over your life, and that you are so loved and so valuable yourself. And you can speak that over yourself. You can look in the mirror and say, no matter what I've done, no matter how much I hate myself, I'm going to love myself as of today. I'm going to turn my life around without the support of anybody else. I'm going to do it. And you had that determination in your life. You've turned your life around. It is possible to do it, no matter how dark, how desperate. We can all turn our lives around, but you say it's a choice.
Yeah, exactly. You have to find something that's going to bring you joy. If something is traumatizing you, you've got to find, like for me, I love snowboarding. I love gym. I love anything outdoor. I do what I do in the community because that's my desire, the passion. But then you've got to have a go-to place that's outside of communication, phones, what's normal in what you're doing. Some might be knitting. Some might be playing cards, reading books, singing songs. I don't know what your happy place is, but you've got to go to a place where you can declutter the mind and you can reset.
Yeah, it's a distraction, isn't it? And as you say, it's downtime for your brain and uplifting for your soul. But one of the biggest things for you, Owen, wasn't it? Like, you know, you've got a very colourful story. You have been in gangs. You've been involved in gangs. You've been involved in like the gangster lifestyle over in Australia, but it was really a mentor, somebody who you could see had love in their heart. It was a mentor that really helped you come out of that, wasn't it? So I think it's a really good thing for people to find a mentor.
Yeah. If you can get to the root of problems, like obviously Pastor Ken, you know, because I lost my father when I was young, and so like he was the closest to my father that I ever knew. And so, you know, every son is looking for the father to acknowledge them and to be noticed. And that's what Pastor Ken did for me. You know, the hug was the hardest thing. The first thing he did, want to give me a hug. I thought, what, are you gay or something? Not that I got anything against gay people back then, but it was like, oh, what do you want to hug me for? You know what I mean? I was breaking through the hard shell, and that's what love looked like to him. And I never forgot that hug. You know, I thought, that was really cool. You know, you could hug something like me, man, the biggest mess standing in front of you. And all he wanted to do, that was his love gift for me, was, I just want to give you a hug. It's okay.
Powerful, so powerful. And again, it comes back to it all, seeking love, even though we might not admit it ourselves because of our brokenness. We're seeking love and connection from other people. And I know that your podcast recording today will touch the lives of teenagers that are lost and broken. And so do seek help if you're in a desperate place. Do find a number online, but also the message to seek out a mentor, a healthy mentor. And it might be a sports teacher, it might be a friend's dad, it might be an uncle and aunt. Seek out that support. And also for listeners that want to know more about Owen's life, because your story is mind-blowing, then do have a look at our Pods with Posh and Pool podcast, because Owen has told his life story on that. And again, that will inspire you in terms of bringing transformation into your own life.
Thank you for the opportunity. It's great to be with you guys again. Look forward to doing some more somewhere.
Yeah. Thank you, Owen. Your time is precious and we really value that you've lent us some of it. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bless your wonderful hearts. We'll see you later.
Thanks so much for being with us today. For us to inspire others to live their magnificently imperfect life, please subscribe and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes or on your podcast app. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Pods with Posh and Pool. We can't wait for you to join us on our next episode. Love, light and peace.